Tim and Allison, that's absolutely right. Now, this is just one example of so much devastation we've seen throughout the day. You can see this tree here in Carolina Forest was struck by lightning. You could actually see the burn marks right here. This is right off Carolina Forest Boulevard and Highway 501. Now, we got a chance to speak to one of the Pizza Hut employees because we're in the parking lot of that right here. And they said that they heard that sound when the lightning actually struck. They say it was deafening. Well, good morning, Jack and Crystal. A lot to speak of. About 15 minutes ago, it was all quiet and pretty dry until about 15 minutes ago. That's when conditions really started to deteriorate. We've seen a lot more wind, a lot more rain, and that wind is getting stronger. I can say I spoke just a couple minutes ago to a guest of this resort right here, and he was telling me he's been coming here for 7 years for Memorial Day weekend. He's never seen a weekend of violence just like this one. Just gives you the perspective of how bad this weekend has been. So we placed a number of phone calls to the property manager. We also tried coming out to the property itself to see if we can get some answers, but so far this is as far as we've been able to get. Well, as customers, we're always trying to make sure we get the best deal at the pump, but in the end, who really comes out on top? So one of the things that's going to be getting done over the next couple weeks is this barrier wall right here, which is actually going to get filled with concrete, exactly like the one on the other side of the northbound bridge. Now we got our hands on some dramatic handheld video which showed just how chaotic this scene was just a few hours ago. People were literally lining these streets facing this direction. That's where the Bermuda Sands Motel is. That's where one of 2 shootings took place. Now on top of that, this was just an absolutely chaotic scene. Parts of Ocean Boulevard were completely closed off for an extended period of time. They have since been reopened. We also spoke to someone who heard from a victim just moments after they were shot. Here's what they had to say.
They say, you just hear pow, somebody shooting, pow, 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 pow.
Chaos, panic, and confusion along Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach Saturday night, after separate shootings left 3 people dead and 2 others seriously hurt. This video shot by Jamont Samuel, who says he saw one of the victims run around a corner right after he was shot.
The dude who got hit, you can see him it was just crazy. He ran around a corner. And I guess his adrenaline was pumping, and you can see where he just, eventually fell and collapsed.
Samuel says moments later, he saw that same victim, gasping for air, breathing in what may have been his last breaths of life.
And it was to the point where, he had a lot of blood everywhere, and he was just trying to breathe, and he was like, everybody's people all around him. And
all this while hundreds of people ran away from where those shots were initially fired.
I was scared to death. I just took off and started running. I was scared.
Most of Ocean Boulevard stayed shut down through the early hours of Sunday morning as police worked to find a suspect. Tragedy a little more than a day away from the end of Atlantic Beach Memorial Bike Week.
You always try to prepare for the unexpected. We've had shooting incidents before. We certainly don't like to see any type of incidents where somebody dies during this event or any event that Myrtle Beach has. Have 3 people in one night is kind of a big thing. We only had 2 homicides for a total last year, so it's something a little unusual. We hope to put a lot of work into this and get this solved real quick.
Suspects in custody, and as of right now, there is no motive for either of those 2 shootings. But again, these are questions that we will continue to ask as this investigation is ongoing, and we will have a lot more for you coming up in just half an hour right here on Good Morning Carolina. 5 shootings that killed 3 and injured 4 in Myrtle Beach in just 48 hours. They happened during the Atlantic Beach Bike Fest, and many are saying enough is enough. Although police have not connected the shootings to the event, there is a petition on change.org generating thousands of signatures and a Facebook page with more than 13,000 likes, both asking for an end to Atlantic Beach Bike Fest. On Tuesday, I set out to get reaction from Atlantic Beach officials to this weekend's shootings and the public outcry, but after a lot of waiting and a lot of calls to Mayor Jake Evans, I didn't get very far.
You have reached the Sprint voicemail box.
Hey Jake, it's Mark Liverman calling from News Channel 15. Please give me a call as soon as you can. Councilmember Josephine Isom agreed to meet me and then canceled an interview. Finally, Town Manager William Booker agreed to be interviewed, but only by phone.
First, there has to be a connection between the tragic incident and the event, and that hasn't been made. So for someone to jump to the conclusion that the tragedy as a result of the event, I think is very inappropriate.
Booker says town officials haven't addressed the issues yet, but says eliminating future bike weeks won't stop the violence.
One of the things that we believe is that the bikers are going to come whether we prepare for them or not. And it's certainly better to be prepared for something that's going to happen than to not prepare